Hello everyone, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and it is once again time for the Margarete Miller collage challenge, and we are on week 15. My voice is not as gravelly as it was last week because I'm about over my cold. Not quite, but certainly on the tail end of it. So we're on week 15. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming along to my channel. And if you're new, thank you for joining us. And I hope you see something you like and would like to continue to watch. So we're on week 15. And you would go to hashtag 2025cwp15 to see what others are doing with these same prompts. So we need a stamp or a seal impression. Now, when it says a stamp, does that mean a postage stamp? Does that mean a rubber stamp? I'm not sure. And a seal impression, so, you know, I have a seal, but it's got my name on it, so I didn't want to put it on there. Something that flies, something found in the kitchen, a piece of wrapping paper with bright colors, a photograph of a landscape, and an interesting texture. So this one was very, very hard for me because I couldn't find anything that was a landscape, a photograph of a landscape. So I did the next best thing that I could do, and that is I am going to use, this looks like a photograph of the Statue of Liberty, which is a postage stamp. So I'm going with it as a postage stamp, and then it is a photograph, because it looks like it's a photograph, not a sketch, of the Statue of Liberty. So that's what I'm going with as my a stamp, and that also will be a photograph of a landmark. Then I have this as a piece of wrapping paper with bright colors. This is a piece of a vintage wrapping paper, very thin, that has these tulips on it. It had blue, red, green, yellow. I put it back away, so I don't have it out for you to look at. But I fussy cut one of the tulips out. So that is going to be my piece of wrapping paper. Something that flies. I have this butterfly that came from a piece like this, and these two were the end pieces off of the same sort of thing as this. And this is a early 1900s something, because I have an album with all of these in it. These came out of that. All of these little things came. It's the things that didn't stay stuck, that their glue gave away. So they came out easily. So I just fussy cut the one that was on the piece of paper with these two. So that's from an early 1900s scrapbook album. So that is my something that flies. Okay, so now we're going to go on to, and this is really cool. We're going to go on to something found in the kitchen, which will also be my interesting texture. So I have this book, Robinson's 1977-78 catalog wall coverings. And this is a sample book from those dates, from the late 1970s. And here is the inside, the front cover. This is the front cover. The back cover is missing, but the papers are still in here. So I have chosen one of these, something found in the kitchen. You find wallpaper in the kitchen, in some kitchens. So I have decided that I'm going to use this bright green lattice for my something found in the kitchen. And it has a texture. I think you can see the texture there. So that's an interesting texture. It's sort of a burlap texture. So I'm calling that my interesting texture. And so that's going to fulfill two of those. So let me give you a quick reference to how I'm going to lay this out. with my little template here. So this is the wrapping paper. So I'm going to do it along the edge, and I'm thinking I'm going to cut this in the round right here, so the lattice is over on the side here. I was going to do it in the middle, and have the whole thing have a lot of the green, but I didn't want to waste that much of this wallpaper. I might want to use it again somewhere. So I decided I would just do it here in the lower or upper corner. The upper corner has a little more, let's see, the upper corner might be a little bit, let me see if I can move that out of the way. The upper corner might have a little bit more of the green, but anyway, let's just move on. And then, so this wallpaper is something found in the kitchen and an interesting texture. The stamp is a stamp or a seal impression. I'm calling it a postage stamp, whether it's a rubber stamp or a postage stamp, I don't know. And this is also a photograph of a landmark, because I did not have a photograph of a landmark. So I'm going to put that there. And then this is vintage, very vintage. And it is a butterfly, which is my something that flies. And that's going to go like that. So this is basically going to be my layout. So I love this little template because I can move it here to see if, I really like it with all the green in the background, with that much of the green. But again, I don't really want to waste that much of the wallpaper. So I'm going to do it right here. And I'm going to get me a pencil and draw me a circle. So I have two things that is taking up 2 each of the prompts. Again, doing it on a circle is not as easy as you might think, because you can't use very big things. And so that is where we're at. This wallpaper book, sample book, is really interesting to me because, as some of you may know, I think I've mentioned it before, I was in the wall covering business. I was outside sales rep for a wall covering distributor. So, of course, I was still in college at the time this wall sample book came out. But this was a sample book that was in my father's shop. He was a cabinet maker. And at some point, as part of his offering, he had some wallpaper sample books to offer for people who wanted to have the cabinets made, and they wanted wallpaper, and he was able to provide that. So that's where that came from. So I need to get this on here. I'm going to go ahead and get this on this. Move my light back over. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and get this down. Oh, me. My little thing is almost empty again. I didn't fill it up, and I should have, because it's really close to being empty. I am just trimming this off so I don't have as much space to put glue where it doesn't need to be. And these are, those might be useful at some point. Anyway, I've been hoarding this wallpaper book because, well, it's from 1977, 78. So it's like, how can you not, right? But I decided I needed to use it because nobody's going to want it when I'm gone. I need to use up all this stuff I have. So I'm using it. And I probably won't use any more out of it. I may, it depends. This is the first time I've actually had anything I wanted to use it on. So, who knows? I need to put this up to the light so I can make sure that, hopefully, that I have it somewhat into that circle that I drew. But it'll be fine. if it's not, because I can erase the pencil mark. I don't have it exactly, but that's okay. So this is my something found in the kitchen, and an interesting texture. So this one covers two. So this is going to be pretty quick, even though it took me a long time to come up with this. I was trying to, my drawback, my holdback was I like for them all to sort of coordinate in some form or fashion, and I couldn't find a photograph. I thought I had a postcard that was, and I did, but I had used it in another collage for the Margarete Miller's either last year or the year before. So I didn't have it anymore because I had already used it. And so I just could not find anything that I could do. And I have some travel books that I thought, well, you know, but they were all black and white. There was nothing small enough. And that is part of the problem with using these circles. Even though the circle is 4 inches in diameter, it is still kind of hard. So I'm going to have to erase this. Okay, and that's scuff mark, which actually has gone through the paper. I don't know how that happened, because it was not like that when I cut it out. Yeah, it's kind of, I guess it's from the 70s. I guess it's because it's that old, because it's got a scuff mark up here too that wasn't there. And it may have just been from rubbing it with, you know, having the glue on it. And, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter about that, I don't think. So we've got this, which I'm going to put along the edge. I have this, and this is also it was on an envelope, and I'm not going to take that lime green off just because it matches. So this is going to be quick. Like I said, it's quick putting it down. It was not quick figuring it out. I had a hard time with this one, but I came up with something that works out pretty well, I think. And so I didn't get that on there exactly like I wanted it, but it is okay, because I like to have that writing be the right way. So we'll just do it that way. Move it up so it's in frame, and we'll get this down next. I'm not going to ink around the pieces. I will ink around the whole piece, I think, when I'm done, the whole circle. So these are fun. These are fun. The circles are fun. The 4-inch coasters are fun to use, but they're right challenging. I will have to say, it's pretty challenging, especially because they're small. Because you have to use smaller things than you think you have to use for these because of the circle. So I mean, like, I would really like to have this whole flower on here, but I don't like the space that it leaves. So I'm going to have to cut off a little bit of the leaf, but that's okay. I don't mind that. But you got to keep those things in mind when you're starting to put things down and figuring out what to use. You've got to keep those things in mind. And that's part of the problem with the photo of a famous place, because they were everything I could find either were black and white, which I didn't want to use because I wanted it to have more color. I needed something with more color, or it was too big. And so, and on last week's, what I used on last week's was a photograph from one of the travel catalogs, and I used, and that worked for that one, but I couldn't find another thing that worked. Okay, so we got that there. Just like that. And I'll get that to cut down. I need to clean my scissors. Okay, and now let's get this on around here. Look at this. And then this is something that flies. And I think that will cover it. So again, I appreciate all of you who come by each and every week and comment each and every week. I appreciate it so very much. If you've not seen my latest journal, I did a springy journal that is up on my YouTube. That if you've not seen it, go take a look and let me know what you think about that journal. And there we are. And you can find that under the playlist journal flip or journal show and tell, I think is what I call it. Okay, so here it is. Let me get my little sanding thingy here and get this sanded. And then I want to ink around it. Just a little bit around the outside. Okay, there we go. I'm sorry I was quiet there for a few minutes. So we're our local meteorologist is telling us that we're going to have warm weather. We're in warm weather right now, and then we're going to have continued warm weather for another week or two, and then it's going to get cool again, which is about par. It's about right for Georgia, because it always, as soon as everything starts popping out good and nice for spring, we get cold enough weather that it bites it all back. Every time, almost every time. It's unusual if we don't get that. Okay, let's go over everything and make sure we have all that we needed. So we need a stamp or a seal impression. So I'm calling it a postage stamp is the stamp. I could put a rubber stamping, but I don't. Oh, wait, yes, I will do that. That way I'll have it all covered because I know what I was going to do for rubber stamping. So let me do that. I remember now. I was going to do like a cancellation right there for this right here. So I will use, I'm going to use Stays On because I don't know if it'll stay on this wallpaper or not. So this wallpaper it's old enough. They call it a vinyl coated, but it's not very vinyl-y. It's very much more paper than vinyl. So we'll use the Stays On, and I want to just stamp that right there. Okay, just barely. It barely did it. Wow. Why did it not do more than that? I won't be able to go right over it, but you can't hardly see that. So let me try it again. There, that's better. I did almost go over it. I almost got it exactly in the same spot. Okay, so now I've got that covered. If it's meant to be a rubber stamp, I've got that right here. If it was meant to be a postage stamp, I've got that right here. So I have it covered. Okay, something that flies is the butterfly. Something found in the kitchen is the wallpaper in the background. A piece of wrapping paper with bright colors is this tulip is fussy cut from a vintage vintage wrapping paper that it has bright colors. And then a photograph or a landmark is also the postage stamp that is a picture of the Statue of Liberty. And then an interesting texture is the wallpaper has kind of a burlap kind of texture on it. So that is week 15 of the Margarete Miller Collage Challenge. So let me bring you in a little closer and let you see this a little closer up. So please let me know what you think. Have you thought about trying these coaster collages? They're challenging but fun. So I wanted the challenge to make it a little more interesting for me this year. So there we are. That is my collage for this week. I appreciate you coming along. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you liked this video and would like to see further videos from me. Also, hit the like button if you liked this video. And comment. Let me know what you think about this collage. And especially let me know what you think about this wallpaper. Let me know if you want to get a flip through of this 77-78 wallpaper catalog. Because that is kind of interesting to take a look. So if you want me to do a quick flip through just for nostalgia's sake, let me know and I'll do that. So I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.